Kenny Wallace is pure racing spirit. A NASCAR legend who still thrills on dirt, he brings joy, energy, and love to every corner of the sport. 2025 Hoosier hero Kenny Wallace hanging out with us at a racetrack of all places.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with us today at the racetrack.
It's good to see you, Jim. I think you're one of the best, and we're at a racetrack, so it can't get any better for me today.
When it comes to racing, you have passion, no question. Hoosier's built on fueling passion, pride, success. Let's get in the Kenny Wallace mindset of dissecting those. What fuels your passion to this day?
Surprisingly, I've really never told people this, but I like competition. It's like being a kid and you're playing a video game. In my day, it was a pinball machine, always sticking a quarter and trying to get a high score. You don't do good at a racetrack, I'm coming back next week. I like competition.
Your dad is a legend in racing. Larry Phillips and Russ Wallace were no doubt the best of the best when it comes to out of Missouri.
Yep.
You had to beat those guys to prove something.
Yep.
You were in the stands watching as a kid. Did you ever think you were going to make 900 or so NASCAR starts and be where you are now, enjoying what is a persona that has a voice in motorsports?
Yeah. I never dreamed that I would be a NASCAR driver. Growing up in St. Louis, Missouri, it was always about the baseball Cardinals, the St. Louis Blues, Gateway to the West, the Arch, and my dad just won over 400 features racing as a hobby. And then Rusty, Mike, and myself, we were just working, heads down. And then one day you come up for air and it's like all these things start happening. And one day you're at Daytona and oh my gosh, there's Richard Petty, and never dreamed ever my life would take this turn.
When it comes to the third element in the Hoosier motto of success, how much does that drive you? In 2022, you won a track championship at Peevely I-55 Speedway. I mean, it's still there.
Yeah.
How much does that drive you? The success of beating the competition and knowing you can win championships even still.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little, I'm very clear on what I want. I want to win races. And, if you win enough races, it's like, oh, I got a shot at the championship. And myself and Dale Earnhardt Jr., we would tease each other. Hey, when our NASCAR career is over, he said he was going to go late model stock racing. And I said, I'm going to go back to our local track, Federated Auto Parts there at Peevely, and I'll run. I'm going to run every week. Because I went right into with being with Rusty and running USAC and NASCAR, I went into the big time right away. It was way wrong. And right away I went into ASA. So I wanted to go back, and I did it. I was clear, and I wanted to win the championship. I won a lot of races and had all top threes and had one bad finish. It was important to me. It's just for my soul. It doesn't matter to anybody else, but I won a track championship at 59 years old and won back-to-back Missouri-Illinois region, which is 6 racetracks. So championships mean a lot to me.
And there's a little dirt track called Volusia here in Florida where they give out little gators to win races, and they give out a big gator to win the overall. You won a big gator as well a couple years back. This is not just a happenstance you went to one track and dominated.
So winning at Volusia, when I was winning a lot there, was very hard to do because you have 120 cars show up. And I'll never forget this. Mark Martin told me this. He says, when you win a race, you're the best. You're the winner. You're the best when you lead that racetrack that night. So Volusia, 130 modifieds, and I won 3 out of 7 one year. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I told Kenny Schrader, I said, I can't believe I've dominated like this. And I said, I can't believe, and Schrader said, oh, don't worry, it won't last. And it didn't. But anytime you can win big races where there's 100 and something cars. Whew.
I know Hooser Tires have been a big part of what you do on dirt.
Yeah.
How have they impacted your career, and how important are Hooser Tires to what you got to do on the racetrack and now representing Hoosier Heroes for 2025?
First of all, I like the color purple. I had a motorcycle that was purple, so I always liked their logo. I always deal with Gator in Springfield, Illinois. He's the largest Hoosier Tire Midwest. I've never had any issues with Hoosier, and for that part, I'm just thankful that we have somebody that provides millions of tires for all these divisions. And, you know, they love racing as much as I do. And I love Hooser Tire. And I remember Terry Young and Big Bob Newton. I was always a little afraid of him. But Terry Young, he was the guy. And, I mean, as a kid, I remember Hoosier Tires pulling into I-70 Speedway. Terry Young, you know. That's how far I go back. But they've been there ever since I was born.
How important is that for you to impart on others, saying, come up with your own content, come up with your own ideas, maybe even ask others questions, because as race drivers, you're like, yeah, that's what I do. I need to say my sponsor at some point.
Yeah.
But for you, how valuable is that to even impart on others, saying, you need to ask others questions. You need to bring this up on your own. You need to make sure you're getting the value for your sponsors.
I think being organic, you know, when people used to say, Kenny Wallace, you're organic. I'm like, what does that mean? And they're like, it just comes across natural. So I think it's important for all race car drivers to be normal. Go, hey, you know, I really want to thank my sponsor. You know, without Sunoco Race Fuels, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. You know, and I love my wife. My God, she raised my 3 kids. And I think like that versus I want to thank my sponsors. Without them, we wouldn't be where we're at. You know, the robotic stuff is it's fake. So I think just letting your guard down, but just, you know, still knowing subconsciously that you got to be respectful, right? Just, hey man, I'll thank my sponsors. You know, like I learned a lot from John Force. He was the best. John Force he was the innovator of being organic. You know, oh man, I blew a motor and my hot rod flipped over, but you know, without my sponsors, we wouldn't be here. We'll be back next week. I mean, that was so organic. So, it was John Force that really, I went, oh, okay, if he can do that, I can do it. You know, so that really helped me. I mean, listen, I don't dream anything up myself. Dick Trickle was my teacher with Rusty, my dad, my brother Mike. But, you know, John Force, he inspired me unbelievable to be myself. I'm like, if he can be himself, so can I. So I would encourage everybody to be themselves and just be respectful and thank your sponsors because, I mean, listen, it's the dirty secret, right? They're going to pay me a check so I can race my race car. If you're a short track racer, Fred's Tire, Bob's Plumbing, Joe's Tree Trimmer, it's still sponsorship. So, you know, it doesn't have to be a Sunoco Race Fuels. A local sponsor, they deserve the respect because you're letting them run your local car. $500 sponsor. You owe them the world. So that's the way I feel about that whole, you know, situation.
Last question, I think, is about heroes. You get a chance now as a media personality to interview your heroes, hang out with your heroes, get a chance to talk to AJ Foyt, as you mentioned how much he was inspiring to you. How much fun is that, knowing that you have these opportunities?
Well, now that I'm older, I'm 61 years old, I said, I've got to go see AJ Foyt. And it was just something that overwhelmed me. When you're young, you're like, oh, I got time. Well, everything I've done, I've gone to Europe, I've gone to the Canadian Rockies, and I'm like, I got to go see AJ Foyt. He's 90, it's time. I don't know how much time he has left. So I was able to put together, and I put a massive effort into it. I got pit passes, I went to Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and I probably spent 5 hours with AJ Foyt. I mean, with AJ, like right here. And it was something I'll cherish the rest of my life. And you know, I never said, hey, AJ, do you remember me from USAC? But I think what really caught me off guard is when I first met AJ, how he misses his buddies. AJ missed Parnelli Jones. And it's the first thing he said to me, man, I miss my, Parnelli Jones. And, those are things that me, being 30, 40 years younger than AJ now, that's in my head, that I've got that with the greatest race car driver of all time, AJ Foyt, man. He's a badass. And yeah, I'm excited right now. I'm gonna cry actually. That was awesome. That was the best day ever.
Kenny, we're gonna have a bunch of fun following you all year long, following the Hoosier Heroes of all of 2025, and it's so special to have you a part of that group. Yeah. Thanks for your time today.
Well, Jim, you're part of us too. Thank you for what you do for racing. We need you, and if I wouldn't have been a race car driver, I'd be you. I'd be doing what you do. So thank you.
Thanks, Kenny.